What do hilltop fortresses, royal palaces, and wine cellar villages all have in common? In Hungary, they're all part of a remarkable network of castles, each with its own unique story carved into stones. From the legendary siege of Eger to the romantic ruins of Salgo, Hungary's castles span centuries of war, art, royalty, and rebellion. So stay with us for a few minutes as we explore some of the most amazing castles in Hungary. Buda Castle. Did you know this castle has been destroyed and rebuilt at least 6 times? Perched atop Castle Hill in Budapest, Buda Castle has long stood as a symbol of Hungarian resilience and cultural richness. Originally constructed in the 13th century following the Mongol invasion, the castle has evolved into a vast Baroque palace complex overlooking the Danube River. It once served as the royal residence of Hungarian kings and has seen everything from Ottoman occupation to Soviet artillery bombardment during World War II. The current structure, rebuilt after significant wartime damage, now houses major cultural institutions like the Hungarian National Gallery and the Budapest History Museum. Architecturally, it blends medieval foundations with Habsburg-era grandeur. Domed rooftops, long colonnades, and ornate facades mark its skyline. As a UNESCO World Heritage Site, Buda Castle is central to Budapest's identity and hosts popular events like the Wine Festival and Castle Bazaar. The castle complex open daily, with the courtyards accessible freely and museums operating from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., closed on Mondays. The site is both a visual and intellectual feast. Visit at sunset for panoramic city views and avoid midday crowds. Don't miss the funicular ride up to the castle, a unique experience in itself. Visegrad Castle. Ever dreamed of standing atop a medieval citadel with a view stretching across the Danube bend? That's exactly what Visegrad Castle offers. Located high above the town of Visegrad in northern Hungary, this 13th century fortress played a key role in medieval royal life and defense. Most notably, it was the site of the 1335 Congress of Visegrad, where Hungarian, Czech, and Polish kings met to form an anti-Habsburg alliance, an early version of regional cooperation. The castle is split into 2 parts. The upper castle, perched dramatically on a steep hilltop with bastions and exhibition halls, and the lower castle and royal palace ruins below, featuring intricate Gothic fountains and courtly architecture. Reconstructed sections showcase medieval weaponry, royal rooms, and stunning Danube panoramas. Open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. most of the year, with extended summer hours, the hike to the upper fortress can be steep but rewarding. Families can enjoy archery, falconry, and medieval festivals held throughout the year. You can arrive by boat from Budapest for a scenic entrance that mirrors the route of royal visitors centuries ago. Füzér Castle. What if you could walk through a castle so remote it was hidden from view for centuries? That's Füzér Castle for you. Dramatically perched atop a volcanic peak in northeastern Hungary near the Slovak border. This medieval stronghold, first mentioned in 1264, is one of Hungary's oldest and most authentically reconstructed castles. It once safeguarded the Hungarian crown jewels in 1526, making it a footnote in royal legend. What sets Füzér apart is its breathtaking location. Built high on a basalt cone surrounded by dense forest, it was designed for defense and seclusion. Unlike many castles, Füzér was never entirely destroyed. It was abandoned in the 17th century and only recently restored using historical documents and archaeological research. The layout includes a chapel, living quarters, and fortified walls, all meticulously recreated to reflect its 16th century form. Today, the castle is a historical education center, offering immersive exhibits about feudal life, Gothic architecture, and royal history. It's open year-round, typically from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., with extended hours in summer. Some paths can be steep, so wear hiking shoes. The climb is rewarded with unbeatable views of Zemplén Hills and a deep dive into medieval life. Esztergom Castle. This castle was once the political and spiritual heart of Hungary. Sitting majestically above the Danube River, Esztergom Castle was the seat of Hungarian kings from the 10th to 13th century and remains a key site in Hungary's religious history. This is where King Saint Stephen, Hungary's first Christian king, was crowned in 1000 AD. Today, the castle shares its hilltop with the Grand Esztergom Basilica, the largest church in Hungary, creating a powerful visual and historical panorama. While much of the medieval structure was lost over centuries of warfare, especially during the Turkish occupation, the surviving castle museum showcases fascinating artifacts. Royal seals, weaponry, religious items, and medieval wall paintings. The layout reflects its original Romanesque and Gothic architecture, with thick ramparts, courtyards, and scenic bastions. The Castle Museum is open most days from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., closed Mondays in off-season. And the panoramic views over the Danube to Slovakia are stunning. It's a great day trip from Budapest, easily reachable by train or car. Pro tip: visit early to beat the tour buses and combine it with a climb to the Basilica's dome. Szigliget Castle. Ever stood on a clifftop fortress and seen 3 volcanic ranges at once? That's what Szigliget Castle offers. Located on the northern shore of Lake Balaton, Szigliget Castle was built in the 13th century by Benedictine monks and later fortified by the Hungarian crown. It played a strategic role in defending against Ottoman incursions until it was struck by lightning in the 17th century and largely destroyed. What remains today has been carefully excavated and partially rebuilt, giving you access to towers, courtyards, and sweeping lookouts over Balaton and the Topolka Basin. The site is both scenic and educational, with interactive exhibits on castle life, weaponry, and medieval engineering. It's open every day from March to November, typically 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., with limited winter hours. While there are no major restrictions, the hike up can be steep and rocky. Go early or late in the day for cooler weather and softer light for photography. A special highlight is the summer night tours, which include torchlight walks and stargazing events. The blend of lake, mountains, and fortress makes Szigliget one of the most dramatic castle visits in Hungary. Regec Castle. This is one of Hungary's few castles whose full 3D architectural plan was recreated entirely from archaeological findings and historical documents. Hidden in the Zemplén Mountains of northeastern Hungary, Regec Castle may not be as famous as others, but it holds powerful historic weight. Built in the 13th century and expanded during the late Middle Ages, it's best known as the childhood residence of Prince Francis II Rákóczi, leader of Hungary's largest anti-Habsburg uprising in the 18th century. Though the castle was largely destroyed during the Wars of Independence, recent reconstructions have made the fortress accessible and educational. It stands on a solitary peak surrounded by forest, with wooden bridges, scenic trails, and reconstructed towers bringing its medieval structure back to life. Today, Regec serves as a historical museum and memorial site, complete with interactive panels and Rákóczi-themed exhibitions. Open from spring to fall, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. It's less touristy than other sites, ideal for hikers and history lovers looking for solitude and depth. Wear sturdy shoes and bring water. There are no shops on site. Esterházy Castle. This castle, often called the Hungarian Versailles, located in Fürtöd, near the Austrian border, Esterházy Castle is one of the most opulent Baroque palaces in Central Europe. Built in the 18th century by the Esterházy family, Hungary's wealthiest noble house, the castle is renowned for its grandeur, vast gardens, and cultural legacy. Perhaps most famously, composer Joseph Haydn lived and worked here for nearly 30 years, composing symphonies and operas for the Esterházy court. The palace features richly decorated halls, mirrored ballrooms, and Rococo interiors that speak to the lavish lifestyle of Hungarian aristocracy. The castle has been carefully restored and now includes permanent exhibitions on Haydn, the Esterházy lineage, and 18th century court life. It's open to the public from April to October, usually 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., with guided tours available in multiple languages. Some areas may be closed during private events, so checking ahead is wise. Don't skip the expansive French gardens, perfect for a relaxed stroll or picnic. If you're a classical music fan, try to time your visit with a summer concert in the Grand Hall where Haydn once conducted. Vajdahunyad Castle. This iconic castle in Budapest is actually a 19th century fantasy mashup. Vajdahunyad Castle, located in the city park of Budapest, isn't a real medieval fortress. It's an architectural time capsule built for the 1896 Millennium Exhibition. Designed by Ignac Alper, it cleverly incorporates elements from various styles: Romanesque, Gothic, Renaissance, and Baroque, all modeled on real buildings from across Hungary. The main inspiration? Hunyad Castle in Transylvania, which gives Vajdahunyad its dramatic turrets and Gothic flourishes. Despite its whimsical origins, the castle has become a beloved cultural hub, home to the Hungarian Museum of Agriculture, the largest of its kind in Europe. It's also flanked by an artificial lake used for boating in summer and ice skating in winter, making it a year-round attraction. The castle is open from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., with minimal entrance fees and no restrictions on photography. Hollókő Castle. What if an entire village was declared a UNESCO site just to protect one medieval castle? That's the story of Hollókő Castle and its surrounding old village in northern Hungary. The name Hollókő means raven stone, and local legend says a raven stole the castle's stones to protect a kidnapped maiden. Originally built in the 13th century by the Caxix family, Hollókő Castle perches on a volcanic hill above a carefully preserved Palick village, where traditional architecture and living customs are still maintained. Though the castle was partially destroyed during the 18th century, it has since been restored and now serves as a museum focusing on medieval warfare and life in the 14th century. You can explore reconstructed towers, learn about feudal justice, and even try on replica armor. The castle is open seasonally, April through October, generally from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., with cultural events peaking during Easter and traditional festivals. The walk-up is short but steep, so comfortable shoes are a must. A visit here offers a double reward. The castle and the village together form a living museum, making it perfect for family trips and educational outings. Sümeg Castle. This was one of the few castles that never fell to the Ottomans, thanks to its strategic hilltop location and strong fortifications. Sümeg Castle, one of Hungary's best-preserved medieval fortresses, rises steeply above the town of Sümeg in western Hungary, dominating the landscape with its commanding presence. Built in the mid-13th century after the Mongol invasion, the castle played a key military and administrative role for centuries, especially during the Ottoman Wars. Today, it's not just a static monument, it's an immersive medieval experience. You can witness night tournaments, falconry shows, and traditional feasts within its walls. The castle complex includes towers, courtyards, and reconstructed halls furnished to reflect medieval life. The castle open year-round, typically 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. in summer, shorter winter hours. Sümeg Castle is especially popular with families and history enthusiasts. The steep uphill walk can be challenging, so shuttle buses are available. Don't miss the evening torchlit reenactments in high season. It's like stepping into a time machine. Eger Castle. This Hungarian castle stood at the center of a legendary siege in 1552. Located in the northern town of Eger, Eger Castle is famous for withstanding a massive Ottoman assault when just 2,000 Hungarian defenders repelled an army of over 40,000. This momentous event became a symbol of national pride and is immortalized in the classic novel Eclipse of the Crescent Moon. Originally built in the 13th century, the castle evolved into a Renaissance military fortress with robust bastions and underground passageways. Today, it functions as a multifaceted museum complex, featuring the Dabo István Castle Museum, the Heroes Hall, and an underground casemate exhibit that reconstructs the siege. Its layout is vast and partially restored, offering elevated views of the town and a deep dive into Hungary's turbulent past. Open year-round, and it occasionally hosts battle reenactments and cultural events. Eger itself is also known for its wine. Don't leave without sampling the local Bikawir, bull's blood, in the nearby Valley of the Beautiful Women. This castle is more than stone, it's living history. Boldogkő Castle. This castle looked like it's growing out of a rock spine. Built in the 13th century after the Mongol invasion, Boldogkő Castle sits on a narrow ridge in northeastern Hungary, making it look like a natural extension of the rugged landscape. The fortress has a dramatic silhouette, especially with its so-called Knight's Walkway, extending boldly along a rock spur, offering unparalleled views of the Zemplin Mountains. Its role throughout history was primarily military, controlling important trade routes and serving as a stronghold during the Ottoman Wars. Over time, it changed hands frequently, even falling under the ownership of the infamous Abba family. The castle has undergone partial reconstructions and now serves as a site for historical reenactments, archery shows, and medieval fairs. Architecturally, its towers, curtain walls, and restored interior rooms offer a compact but captivating example of Highland fortress design. You can explore from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. during peak season during April to October, with limited winter hours. It's family-friendly, and interactive exhibits make it ideal for kids. Don't forget to try the local honey-based mead served near the entrance. Yes, it's brewed following medieval recipes. Salgo Castle. This castle lets you stand on a volcano's edge while looking into Slovakia. Salgo Castle, in the north of Hungary near Salgótarján, is a romantic ruin with unmatched panoramic views. Built in the 13th century on top of an extinct volcanic cone in the Sirhat Hills, Salgo Castle served as a small border fortress and lookout point during the Ottoman period. Though modest in size, its location, just a few kilometers from the Slovakian border, made it a key watchtower in medieval times. Its name, meaning shining in Hungarian, is a nod to its gleaming basalt foundation. The castle was partly demolished in the 17th century and never fully restored, but its remaining walls and towers create a hauntingly beautiful ruin that attracts photographers, hikers, and historians alike. Open access year-round, there are no gates or entry fees, but the path up is rugged and best suited for prepared trekkers. On a clear day, you can see as far as the Tatra Mountains. Hajós Castle. Located in the southern Bács-Kiskun County near the village of Hajós, Hajós Castle is a Baroque manor house with a unique dual identity. Part aristocratic residence, part gateway to one of Hungary's most distinctive wine cultures. Built in the 18th century by the Kalocsa Archbishopric, the castle functioned not as a military fortress, but as a noble retreat, marked by symmetry, elegance, and peaceful gardens. The estate's architecture blends late Baroque and early Classicist styles, with curved staircases, high-ceilinged salons, and richly decorated interiors that have been carefully restored. What truly sets Hajós apart, however, is its proximity to the Hajós Pinsfalu cellar village, a network of over 1,000 traditional wine cellars carved into the sandy hills nearby. Today, the castle operates as a cultural center and museum, showcasing noble life, local history, and ecclesiastical heritage. It's open most of the year, with guided tours available upon request. Visiting both the castle and the cellar village makes for a unique experience, where history, architecture, and winemaking meet. Time your visit with the spring or autumn wine festivals when the cellars come alive with local flavors, music, and folk traditions. Grassalkovich Castle. Also known as the Royal Palace of Godalo, this castle doubled as a royal vacation home and a secret wartime command post. The Grassalkovich Castle, located just 30 kilometers northeast of Budapest, is Hungary's largest Baroque palace and a former summer residence of Empress Elizabeth of Austria, better known as Sisi. Built in the 18th century for the Grassalkovich family, it became a favorite retreat for the Habsburgs and a symbol of Hungarian loyalty to the crown. With its horseshoe-shaped layout, grand ceremonial halls, private apartments, theater, and sweeping gardens, the palace reflects the elegance of imperial life. During World War II, the palace was repurposed as a command base for German and Soviet troops, its glamorous rooms used for strategic meetings. After decades of neglect, it was meticulously restored post-1990 and is now a vibrant museum and cultural venue. Open year-round, typically from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., it's easily accessible by train or car from Budapest. Don't miss the royal apartments and the Baroque theater, the oldest functioning of its kind in Hungary. For Sisi fans, the exhibit dedicated to her personal life and connection to Hungary is a must-see. Try visit in spring when the formal gardens bloom into a colorful spectacle. If you enjoyed this journey through Hungary's most fascinating castles, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. Got a favorite castle we missed? Have a story or travel tip to add? Drop a comment, we'd love to hear from you. Thanks for exploring with us. Until next time, happy travels.